damn it, that's a statement of fact. It's not a smear.
This is what I mean, probably. Prime Minister, have you been able to check Mr. Corbell's costings for his social service proposal?
I've gone through the figures with the Liberal Party Federal Secretariat, and my colleague, the Treasurer, will be able to make a more authoritative analysis. But it's already evident that the proposals Mr. Corbell has announced in his policy speech last night will certainly cost far more than double the $300 million that he mentioned in the document he put out as to how Labor would pay for his election undertakings.
Would this necessarily mean an increase then in taxation?
Well, if they were to be carried out, it would certainly mean a very substantial increase in taxation, unless he was going to try to resort to bank credit, which I could hardly imagine any responsible government doing, seeing that currently we're dealing with a deficit of $270 million. This would all have to be superimposed on that.
Mr. Prime Minister, will your proposals mean increased taxation?
I would hope not, not our proposals. If there is to be increased taxation following our return to office, it would arise from other causes which are conceivable, but which are not clearly in prospect at this time. And certainly in no event on the dimension that would be required if Mr. Corbell's proposals were to be given effect. When I speak of other possibilities, no government can predict 12 months ahead of the event what's going to arise in the course of the year. But these are relatively minor adjustments to the budget, not the massive figures which are contemplated in Mr. Corbell's.
Your experience, sir, in the leader of an opposition opening an election campaign?
I've never myself known, or nor can I recall, the leader of a large party opening up with an appeal of this purely emotional kind, which is not directed to the realities of the situation, but to the feelings and the fears of parents. I think myself that Australian parents are able to sort out for themselves what the realities are in the situation. They know that a relatively small number of people are involved, and that the stakes for Australia are tremendously high. They must make a judgment whether we take the action necessary now to avoid the more pressing risks which could come on us at a subsequent point of time.
Still on the conscription issue, as Mr. Corbell prefers to call it, in his policy speech on Vietnam he said that no one would volunteer and no one could deny this fact, not even our own bellicose Prime Minister.
Yes, I saw that. It was, of course, a complete misstatement of the facts. In the last year, 1965-66, there were more than 11,500 young Australians who volunteered for the regular army, and in the first 4 months of this year there have been more than 4,000, indeed a slightly higher rate of volunteer than occurred in the 12 months of last year. And while many of these were rejected because having small, mobile, well-trained forces, we require men who are fit and of the right mental capacity to carry out these tasks, and the army necessarily, therefore, has to have a fairly rigorous standard. But there were those thousands of people who volunteered. Didn't give us as many as we wanted, I grant you. But to say that no young Australians were prepared to volunteer or did so is a travesty of the truth.
The leader of the opposition is not considerably more